So just notice that you are aware. Just do that. And so I'm aware. And then you can actually discern between ordinary mind's movement and the movement of awakened awareness, that awareness is much faster. Uh, Thoughts work in milliseconds, awareness is light speed. So notice the light speed immediacy of awareness. And then we realize that the nature of awareness that saturate the boundless openness of the spaciousness of universal mind is just like it's instantaneous, and often it's like this feeling like, oh yeah, I'm shining up the universe right here, like it's so there is this localization, but it's actually a shifting, right? So it's the shift of realization into the awakened state, which saturates absolutely everything. So let's take a breath together and relax. So relax the contraction of the ordinary mind, the usual habitual pattern. Just relax. And if you're used to have an anchor and place your attention on something so not to be distracted, try not to do that for a few moments. At any point, if you later on feel like, oh, I'm so distracted, you want to use your breath or something to rest your attention on. But then you can start practicing by maybe resting your awareness for like 35% on your breath and 65% of being aware, or whatever percentage makes you happy or makes you feel a certain amount of balance. But yeah, so natural breath. And then talking about concentration, for a lot of the space yogis in the room that are doing the more open awareness practices, be really honest and clear about how distracted you are, right? And I know I started talking in percentages, and for some people that feels a little competitive or something, even with yourself or whatever, or striving or something. But this is kind of a good striving. It's not just striving; it's like a true honesty. So um, yeah, I don't even want to mention percentages, but the, and if you want a little bit of accountability, and find maybe a yogi buddy that you can kind of tell each other from, yeah, I was distracted today or this week, and then distracted in my practice, so on the cushion or on my seat, um, if just look into how much are you present, and then that set, then you can look into that, how is that appearing in my life. So on that note, um, if you feel that there is still quite a bit of distraction, then definitely putting some muscle on non-distraction by doing some concentration practice, shamatha, then that might not be a bad thing. And then it's definitely contrived um, practice where you actually try not to think. Amazing, because that's the complete opposite of what we talk about when we talk about Sochen and Mahamudra. But most people that do those practices were sitting in a monastery for a couple decades, concentrating and doing all the relative practices. And you all know that there were a lot of relative practices, of which concentration is one. So I just wanted to mention that. And if you feel that is something that you would like to have some, go back to the more foundational practice, I am considering, or maybe once every 2 weeks or something, or we can talk about it. Like, we need more groups here, but I don't think it's bad. We'll just keep saturating the week with practice and people holding space, and make it as a community that is, has a lot of possibilities for people to awaken. So again, so let me know if you want to if you want to email me or text me or give me a text here or wherever. If you think that's a good idea, then we'll do it. Even if it's just 5 people that want to just kind of put some muscle on there. Okay, let's take another breath, because I'm doing all this information. And then indeed, when we realize the boundlessness of awakened awareness, there's a tendency to have we feel a little bit the creativity of the mind arising, like I see the shimmer of galaxies and things like that, and then realizing that there are billions of galaxies out there, and it's all mind, the all mind perspective. So, and then allowing that to happen, how playful is that? Noticing the shimmer of creativity arising in your mind and dissolving in your mind. And they never had any reality other than your mind. Just let go beyond any concepts. Be free from be free from the playful creativity while it arises. Just holding the mind wide open and bright. Just hold it open and bright. So having the view of the feeling of beingness, awareness, even though it's not compound, has the knowing quality, the knowing of being and the knowing of phenomena. And then there's kind of this bidirectional holding. Tuka Urgent said, as if you fold it within a little bit. But then he also said, not too much, not too much. That would be wrong. Okay. If Tuka Urgent says so. Right. So feeling kind of into the ground of being, gazing into the ground of being, from being, being gazing upon being, knowing being, and then not too. The self evident experience of beingness. And then holding that perspective while expressing our lives. And then we let go of the past and the future and stop trying to change or modulate this very moment, but leave it as it is in its entirety, in the entirety of the moment. It's not your observation of the moment or even the sensation of it. Beyond that, even prior, just pulling up higher into the light, shining the light of knowing upon all things and upon itself. That's that's the very immediacy of awakening is like just shining the light upon upon its own beingness. And I literally say, not my beingness. That's a little bit further downstream, which is the joy of being. Oh, yes, I am. Sure. If you say so, enjoy. We all do. The I amness. Fine. As long as we once in a while inquire, who is it that says I? And then just kind of collapse into that. Can we take a breath there? Who am I? What am I? Am I aware? Beyond the comings and goings of phenomena, the, the fourth time, the first three times, past, present, and the now. But then they speak about the fourth time that is neither past, present, or future. There's only now, and the now shines brightly and opens the gateway to the wisdom energies of primordial wisdom. Wisdom no other than compassion and love. The automaticity of the expression of the awakened one on your seat, the Buddha, if you will, or Sangye. And then Sangye translated beautifully as the flourishing of positive mind states and the diminishing of negative mind states. So then what happened really? The world is a drama in which the central and boundless beingness appearing as primordial wisdom, which indeed saturates all existence or non-existence, gets lost and tangled in its own creativity, forgets its origin. So here we transcend forgetting, not falling asleep within our own competence. Just wake up right now. Here it is. This is it. So we come from a tradition of Sochen. Great. So then what does that mean? That can only happen right now. So be the awakened one right now. No longer grasping and clinching to the illusory personal identity, the fabricated self. Because if we allow the personal identity to just run amok, it has indeed a tendency for negative bias. And then our lives become a requiem to all unfulfilled wishes and abandoned desires and lost possibilities to paths not taken. We always sit in this matrix of a billion possibilities while our perfect life is just streaming naturally, just unfolding by itself. Just let it unfold by itself. And when we let go of the grasping, every decision is the perfect decision for the benefit of all beings. Not allowing the myth of our potential making our lives an everlasting falling short. Wherever you are right now is the perfect place for your awakening. This is it. It all needed to happen perfectly, sequentially, at apparent sequentially, to happen in this for this moment to be your moment of awakening. Just feel into the trust and confidence that this is the moment. This is it. I won't let any limiting beliefs get in the way of my awakening. So when we express our lives from the awakened stream of spacious freedom, we come home to a profound absence of lack. Come on home, bright. So let's brighten our minds and our hearts. Relax your awareness from focusing on the content of experience and just relax into the open and still space of awareness itself, just shining. And then anything that comes into consciousness can be part of the meditation. Just gazing into the space to which the thoughts move, gazing into the space, being the field of awareness. And then from this bright, open, welcoming, loving, open, awakened awareness perspective, we set our intent to, with the wish to awaken for the benefit of the awakening of all beings. All your all you beautiful yogis on this call, thank you so much for your beautiful intent. Healers of the world. This is not a small thing. Who is doing the meditation? Just collapse. Also maybe invite all all those that went before and became awakened. And visualize that field of awakened ones smiling upon you in encouragement, feeling that all that this human birth was the perfect expression of awakening, and realizing that all those were humans just like you, and they perfectly became enlightened beings. They woke up within their competence and realized, I am that indeed. Wake up wherever you are. Let's take a breath. Relax. Relax all patterns, yet vividly bright. And now, in that openness, just pop the question, who or what is it that is sitting here? Who is it that is wondering, who am I? And without contracting into the personal identity, allow everything, what it feels like to be you to really be present. Just feel into the mm, full body mind continuum with your name on it. It has a certain resonance. Let that ring, but let it arise in the boundless field of awareness. Recognize awareness because it's ever present, it doesn't fluctuate. And simultaneously feel what it feels like to be you. As humans, we know how to bring forth a self examining awareness, this metacognitive overview. That's why it's so fortunate to be human. We have this, that's the gateway to our liberation. So get really intimate with that feeling of you without losing the boundless perspective. Maybe gaze into any personality features or qualities that you recognize so intimately about your habitual identity, your apparent separate identity. And now open up into awareness and shine the light of knowing upon that identity, and see if you can find anything of any substance at all. Can you find any independent self existing anywhere in your body? And no matter how deeply you look at it, the more it keeps evaporating. From an experiential perspective, don't contrive it. Just notice that there is nothing to grab onto. It's like a vapor in the sky. So that feeling of what it feels like to be me is another thought, somewhat integrated with my sensorium. So wherever you feel kind of a localization, like maybe around the heart or behind the eyes, let awareness open up right in that place. And notice its insubstantiality. It just evaporates. This, this emptiness of the self is then clearly experienced, and then what remains is the shining light of awareness. And then realizing that all these modulations of what it feels like to be us, including all thought patterns and emotions and feelings, and the body, are just modulations and the playfulness of awakened awareness. This is the way to clear away the usual patterns and open up into the purity of awareness. Let's take a breath. I am that which knows my experience. I am that which knows my life. I am that which knows the lives of all beings. And I wish to become deeper and deeper, familiar, intimate with my true essence on behalf of all beings. May I too become the guide for all those still lost in their limiting beliefs. Just allow awareness to awaken to itself. Nothing needs to be done. It keeps getting brighter and saturating my life more and more by itself, from within itself, as itself. Always home. Always home. Welcome home. The returning of awareness to itself is a celebration of itself. Being aware is the true essence of, if you wish to call it, meditation. Being aware is the prayer of life. And a direct vessel to peace and happiness. Just relaxing into excellence. So wide open, boundless awareness in all directions, from all directions, no directions. Have awareness come up from the heart and flow out of your eyes and saturate the space all around with awareness. Not too tight. Allow the mind to move. And thoughts come and go without forgetting I'm thinking. A little bubble of awareness inside out, aware of the totality of awareness. You're sitting in this interconnected matrix of being, in this boundless sea of beings, this boundless sea of awareness. And then without dropping into a real localized experience, just feel into your heart and notice its innocence and its intrinsic goodness. Let your heart shine. Let it shine up the whole matrix. Simply aware of the arising and falling of all and everything. Yet always, I'm here. And maybe as a little practice, that this is the perspective of your life and not just a meditation, you can maybe mix it up a little by staying wide and open and be aware of your in and out breath. Breathing out into it and in out of it. Just breathing the whole matrix of being. knowing space. And everything that appears and dissolves, and the knowing one boundless whole. Movement and knowing stillness, knowing stillness and movement. Since our intent is to make our lives an open eyed meditation, maybe for the last 5 minutes, you can open your eyes if you're a closed eyed meditator. That's not comfortable, then just gaze into the light. Don't withdraw in a safe harbor. Interconnected. Don't look at the screen. Open up into the all at onceness gaze. Noticing the periphery as much as the center. And then relax. Saturate the space all around with awareness. Bidirectional stream of knowing. Non-directional. All at once. And if you're particularly adventurous, you can look at things with holding the gaze, not just gazing from sight, but gazing from being. Notice there is maybe no out there. Everything within without periphery. Everything just modulations of light and awareness. Where do you end and I begin? And for maybe a little deliberate movement of mind, set your intent. I can hold this perspective while I do more complex things today. Of creating the momentum of the siren call of come on home in every moment. And then over time, just any movement of appearance actually mirrors ourselves back to ourselves. So now actually experience becomes the little helper of awakening. I feel, I experience, I am. Who is this I? I all and everything. And from that perspective of openness and goodness, may we be healed and whole again. May the world be healed and renewed for my beautiful practice and ever presence. May we be the origin of healing for all sentient beings in this interconnected sea of beings. We vow to stay open and connected to our innermost wholeness. We wish to hold all those that enter our realm so they may find their own boundless wholeness within. May they all be healed throughout their interconnected body-mind continuum. Just all walking each other home.